is the second Sunday of Lent. So the Lord is inviting us to go deep, deeper and deeper in the journey of the desert. Where he said, in the desert, in the first reading, first Sunday, the way the Lord was tempted by Satan, with the senses of the body, truly, which was the forbidden fruit was beautiful, eye-catching, tasty, and mind-provoking. So Eve fell for that. Where Jesus stood set first, he was stronger with the word of the Lord. And then we found Satan was so deceptive and so cunning. He was so shrewd to take the word itself. Psalm number 51, the psalms which was used to do exorcisms at that time. The very words of the psalm Satan used to deceive Jesus. And then word became the strength and the shield where when Satan was attacked. And today we go deeper. Once you resist temptation, once you rebuke Satan, once you say no to your flesh, world and satanic forces, it's not the end of the whole scenario, where we are called to journey further. You resist him to have a journey. You're called to journey because it's a journey until we see him face to face. So there are many battles to be fought. There are many hurdles to be jumped on. There are many hazards to be overcome. So it's a journey. You can never be comfortable in your spiritual life. That's the real meaning of the 40 days. As I said that day, 40 means a specific important number in the Bible, where you are prepared for a mission, where we are prepared for a significant event in your life. So the meaning does not lie in 40 days. It's a kind of washing of the plate so that the Lord can feed you. It's a kind of preparation of the ground for him to sow on that particular ground. So today, the Lord is saying that when Satan was disturbed, when Satan disturbs Jesus by inflicting a suspicion to his mind, by saying, if you are the Son of God, and he was so sure that I am the Son. So identity-wise, he never had a double standards. He always knew that I am the Son, there is no other way, so I am here to do the will of my Father. In doing that will, so we have to journey. If you want to journey, you have to listen. When you are beckoned, when you are called, only you can leave what you are clinging on. So it's important, the second Sunday, the second sign, the Lord is inviting us to listen carefully. Listen to the calling, listen to the beckoning of the Lord. And then when you listen, his word is like a double-edged sword. It will separate you. It never soothes you, comforts you. Rather, it will challenge you to leave your comfort zone, leave your shore to launch into the deep. That's where the first reading says how Abraham was called. The Lord called him and asked him, see the words, Yahweh said to Abraham, leave your country. Can you please repeat? Louder. Leave your country, your family, and your father's house. You know, we love to leave our country, isn't it? That's another story. But then for them to leaving their country is a terrible challenge. They didn't have visas. They didn't have, a legal system. They just had their strength of their kith and kin. If they are in their country, they are safe. Once they pass the boundary, their life is in danger. Because they all have tribes that time, They have their tribal leader, and they have their war power. So if they are in that tribe, they are safe. The Lord is asking them to leave their tribe, leave their country. And the Lord is saying, for the land I will show you. For the land I will show you. For the land I will show you. I mean, it's not to be seen yet. What kind of faith Abraham should have to leave that his comfort zone? The Lord is saying, I will show you the land. Had he had a Google map and all that, GPS and all that, you could have Google and see, isn't it? What kind of a land that he is going and what kind of a road that he has trodden through. You could have foresaw them all, but then foresee them all. But then, no trace of the promise, no trace what's going to come. But then he had to believe to live. For that you have to have a deep relationship with the Father. That's why the testing of the desert is needed. That's why Holy Spirit led Jesus to the desert to be tested by Satan. That testing will bake you, that testing will season you, so that you can stand firm when the challenges come on your way, my dear friends. So it's a journey, it's a beautiful time of testing the 40 days. It's a deepening of your relationship. All your dependence in the world, all your contacts of the world, all your comforts of the world, we are going to forego them all and to see that only my Jesus is there for me. My God, my Abba, my Father is there for me. You have to know this. You have to know this properly. So you have to reinforce your relationship with the Father. You have to do this if you want to live. If you don't believe, you will not live. Can you please repeat? If I don't believe, all together, if I don't believe, I don't live. Isn't it? Because your security is here. The Lord is asking you to leave. You will never leave. Because you have what you have now. And when you leave, you don't know what you're going to have, The world will say, always cling on, grab on, embrace, pile up, gather things. The world will show that you depend on this world. So you are safe. Through obedience, only you can leave the dependence of the world. If you obey Him profoundly, only you can leave your dependence in the world, so that you will be depending on Him alone. And it's a pain, it's a struggle, it's sort of jumping into hot water. You asking for trouble sometimes. You have your cake with you, but then the Lord is asking you to leave that. But then if you trust Him, that He is my Abba, He loves me more than I love myself, and He has a plan for me, it's not stagnating. It's a river. It's not a pond of waters where it is stagnated. It's a continuous river that flowing through the deep ocean. Until I find that ocean, I have to flow through all the rocky mountains, all the deserts, all the hazards in the life. We can't stop by. We have to move on, journey until we find that deep ocean. So it's a continuous change of life. The Lord is asking Abraham to leave everything what you have and go to the place I'm going to show you. So He has not shown it. So it's a one day at a time process. One day at a time. You will live this today and you will have your manna as your strength. You can't gather manna for the next day. That's the rule of the providence. If you want to be provided by Him, you have to believe that. You can't have, your own accounts and own your first plan, second plan, and third plan, all your savings, and you know that you have this, if failing which, you have this plan also. No, your plan is to be connected all the time. That's your only and sole plan of your life. It's a journey of living. Living causes pain. Living causes insecurity. Living causes, sometimes the difficulties of life. But then Abraham had to leave everything, my dear friends. He said, I'm going to give you a nation like the stars, a generation like the stars, and not a child. He was 75, and he's an old man, and his wife is also old, and he has to hope against hope. Are you ready? Are you ready to leave all what you have? I'm not asking you to leave your family, your wife, and go to Himalayas and do Om Shanti Bhavana. I'm not asking that. But then in your heart, you have your own securities, In Sinhala we call mukku, and own comforts, own streams of strength that you have. My dear friends, the Lord is asking you to leave it for a greater glory. Christian life is a life of hope. In Romans chapter 8 verse 24 it is said, it's a life of hope. And if you hope, you don't see what you are hoping. If you don't see what you are hoping, you have to wait upon the promise of the Lord. That's why in Luke chapter 1 verse 24 it is said, 45 it is said beautifully, our mother is a blessed one who hope always the promise of the Lord. So it's like this curtain, You can't see beyond the curtain. You can't see beyond the curtain. But then our Lord is asking you to leave my comfort zone, looking at the curtain. I don't see anything there. But the Lord is asking that. Transfiguration is a place, is an experience where for a glimpse of a second, he showed what is awaiting after the tragedy of the cross. What is waiting there? And there's nothing. I can't see anything. But then, there is something. If you look carefully, there is something waiting, There is something waiting. The trophy is waiting. But then it's covered by the curtain, If you leave what you have now, you will have the trophy, the glory of heaven. But then it's covered with a curtain. So you have to believe beyond that curtain, Beyond that curtain. That's why you have to go through mill, you have to go through hardship. Definitely. That's why Satan wanted the glory without pain. Satan said, you jump from the temple and doom of the temple, and the angels will hold you. The people will come to know that you are the Son of God. It's an easy way out. It's a shortcut to enter the glory, to have the glory and glamour of the promise. And Jesus said, no, you get behind me, Satan, get out of it. Rebuked Satan and said, I have to suffer. There's no other way. In suffering only, he will come and break, he will come and say all the things to leave your suffering. You don't have to suffer. You have to, he will say, you bypass suffering and have the glory. Never. His way is a way of cross. If you want to follow me, take up your daily cross and follow me. So it's a journey. Of course, there is a curtain. I have to go there and leave what I have now, and take that leap of darkness, leap in the darkness. That's faith, and journey towards that. In Transfiguration, my dear friends, Jesus for a moment in prayer appeared as the glorious one. His clothes were bright as snow. Face was like the sun. People could not look at him. It was so glorious for a second in prayer on the top of the mountain. Prayer will transform you. Prayer will always transform you. Prayer should give you that promise of that glory. When you pray in the Spirit, you will see visions. You will see the presence of, you will feel the presence of God sometimes. If you have never experienced that glory in your prayer would be really dull. You will hate to pray, but then there is no other way but pray. So you will like the bulls taken to kill, witches to kill them, and you know what, you're so scared. If you don't pray, what will happen? So for the sake of praying, you will pray. The ones who experience the glory of God in prayer will love to pray. Will love to pray, and in that prayer you will see the promises of God. But then it's a vision only. You have to come down from the mountain. Come down from the mountain, and there's another mountain to be climbed on. That's the mountain of Calvary. Peter, typical Peter, PPS, Panapana service, always jump the gun. Always jump the gun. When they were speaking, Abraham and Moses and Elijah and Jesus was speaking, poor Peter also spoke. While they were speaking, they said, it's better if we can stay here, Lord. I can make 3 tents, come on. And the Lord said, he's my beloved son. He's my son and the beloved one. Please listen to him. Stop talking. Prayer is lot of parroting prayers are there. We all jabber, Well, there's no moment to listen. Do you listen when you pray? Have you ever heard his voice, his promptings? It's not necessarily that he will speak to you through a cloud and say, son, today. If he speaks better, he can do that also. But then, do you really feel the presence of his speaking? When you do read a scripture, he will speak to you. When you listen to your conscience, he will speak to you. The Lord is saying, listen now. Listening, in the Bible, the word listening is deep. Listening is always joined with acting. It's action. The word and action, there is no gap between the action and the word. Word itself says there is an action. When he said, let there be light, there was light. So when he says listen, listening and obeying will come together. The Lord, when you pray, only he will say, now you have to live this. You have to go deeper. You have to journey further. In that listening, in your deep prayer, you will find that there is a promise awaiting. Sometimes it's not that clear. It's like a cloud. They were covered with a cloud. Cloud will always depict the presence of the Lord. The mystery of the Trinity, mysterious scenario depicts the cloud. You can't see properly things. That's where the people of Israel in the desert, they were led with a cloud during the daytime. It shows the presence of the Lord. My dear friends, in this life, things are not that clear. We have to believe. So this Lent is a time where you deepen your relationship with the Father. You go to the inner chamber with him and realize that you are his son and daughter. You have a heavenly heritage, heavenly air. You belong to there. You have that heavenly glory waiting. Heavenly room is there for you. Jesus is going to prepare that room for you. It's a journey. All what you have here is a tent. You leave that tent and journey further, believing that he's there. My dear friends, it causes a lot of pain, but then hope will overcome your pain. If you hope, if you believe that there is something waiting, your pain is like a labor pain where the child is waiting. When you are in terrible pain, you know that something is awaiting. So believing, hoping, and having a vision of that glory we will take up the cross today, daily cross, and journey with Jesus. Transfiguration in deep prayer will show that what is awaiting, and you have to know that you have to climb down from that mountain, and there is a mountain waiting to be climbed up. That's the Mount of Calvary. For gospel, for the good news, you have to pay a price, as St. Paul says, the second reading, my dear friends. Let's close our eyes, probe into our hearts, and ponder the word for a moment.